Good morning, yogis. This is Julie from Totally Holistic Health, and this week, because of the change of seasons, it's obviously kind of a little bit more autumnal now. So we actually have passed the autumnal equinox. It's really, really important to start sort of focusing on sort of moving or giving your energies inwards a little bit. So conserving all those energies. Obviously considering looking at sort of things like the trees losing their leaves, just things like letting go of stuff, letting go of emotions you don't necessarily need. Just letting go of maybe trying to strive for certain postures that you're maybe not ready for. Really sort of focusing on what you can do rather than what you can't do. So really just sort of trying to sort of hone the skills you've actually got, and maybe coming at it from your yoga practice from like a beginner's mind, as if you're sort of approaching it afresh. It's quite nice just to really notice the sensations, but also we're doing a lot of grounding down now, so really focusing on the feet, focusing on sort of the root chakras, focusing on just really bringing the energies down to earth, just in preparation for the winter. So we're going to start it off in pose of a child. So again, the option is whether you have your knees nice and wide or you have your knees together. The option is there for you depending on how you're feeling. If your hips are a little bit tight, you might find the knees a little bit wider is better. So we're just going to allow the chest to come forward onto the floor. So if you find that you can't bring your head onto the floor, you can just use a couple of fists, just resting your head down there. And if you find it's uncomfortable on your feet, you can pop a blanket underneath your feet as well. So either way, just allowing yourself just to really open up the back body. So really noticing that lovely sensation of opening up the ribs, opening up the side body. Using that breath. And then slowly I'm going to come onto all fours. So bringing the knees underneath the hips, bring the arms underneath the shoulders. So really it's quite nice to use the breath. We're going to do some nice mobilization of the spine. So first of all, we're going to drop the belly down towards the floor. So just breathing in, really notice that lovely stretch in the front body. But as you breathe away from the floor, so arching the back away from the floor, breathing out through the mouth. Dropping the head down between the arms. And again, breathing in, as your belly comes down, your head comes up. And then breathing away, out through the mouth on the other way. And again, your own time. And then coming back to a nice neutral spine. So we're going to come into a downward dog now. So it's make sure that you've got your fingers nice and wide. So your fingertips are nicely engaged into the floor. We're going to curl the toes under. So rather than really forcing ourselves back into a really strong downward dog, so just very gently, just bring the knees off the floor, just slowly pushing back, just allowing the head to drop down between the arms, maybe pedaling out the feet a little bit, stretching out the back body. So really trying to conserve your energy, just really not forcing everything, just slowing right down. Again, the practice can be as strong as you need it to, but the main thing is just trying to not force everything, because you know everything goes a bit colder at this time of year. So including your muscles and your energy. Brilliant. Okay, so we're going to bring the right leg into the air, so into a three-legged dog. Now you have the option to bring your left knee down if you want to come from a kneeling pose. So we're going to just bring the weight into the hands, bringing the right leg between the hands into a nice lunge. So the main thing here is trying to make sure that this leg is nice and perpendicular. So if you find that this knee goes over your ankle, just bringing the leg forward a little bit. So dropping the shoulder blades down the back. So again, of this option here, you can just bring that knee down again, don't forget, if it's too strong. So we're going to bring the arms off the floor, bring the arms above the head. So from here we're going to grab hold of the left wrist with the right hand and just draw that right hand over to, well, the left hand over to the right. So we've got a nice stretch in the left side of the ribs. And come back to centre. So we're going to bring the left hand onto the floor, rotating round to the right. Really opening up the chest. And then bring the right hand down on the outside of that foot, rotating round to the left. And bringing the left hand down. So we're going to just bring the back left knee down, flattening that foot. We're going to walk the hands back. So we're going to keep the toes stuck onto the floor to start off with. Nice stretch on the front of the leg. Chest nice and open. And then walking forward, stretching out that lovely hip flexor stretch on the left side. So I'm going to walk the hands back again and just flexing that foot. And if you want to, just drawing the nose down towards the knee. So the main thing really is trying to make sure that you're really engaging this shin, the left shin into the floor. It really does help the stability, so really pushing it into the floor. And slowly we're going to come forward. We're going to allow the front knee to join the back. We're going to come back into a downward dog, really gently, slowly pushing. You're getting a little bit warmed up now, so again you can be a little bit more vigorous if you want to, but just gently in your own time. Then we're going to bring the left leg into the air. Again, don't forget you can come down with from your right knee, gently bringing the left leg through into that lunge. So once you get down here, just adjusting yourself, allowing this knee to come over the ankle. And again, don't forget your knee can come down to the floor if you need it to. So again, if you want to try and conserve energy, maybe try and keeping the knee down. I would keep my knee down for this option. So we're going to bring the arms above the head. So again, just grabbing hold of the right wrist with the left hand, drawing the arm over to the left. Nice stretch on the right side. And coming back to centre. So we're going to bring the right hand down first of all, rotating round to the left. A nice closed twist. And then bringing the left hand down, rotating round to the right. And then coming back to centre. So keeping those toes nice and glued to the floor, we're walking the hands back, straightening that front leg. Chest nice and open, shoulders down your back. Again, just enjoy that lovely stretch before moving on to the next thing. Really, really focus on how that feels in that leg. And then walking the hands forward. And flexing that foot, walking back. And again, if you want to, just bringing the chest forward. Dropping the head down. And slowly walking the hands back. So we're going to bring that left knee again, joining the right knee back onto all fours. So we're going to make sure that this knee is above, or the hip is above that knee. We're going to walk the hands forward and just very gently lower the chest down towards the floor. So we're coming into puppy dog pose. So it's a bit like a pose of a child, but your bottom's in the air basically. So just bringing the chest forward. So again, this can be quite a strong back bend. So if you do need to pop something underneath your forehead, you can do. Really noticing that heart opening up towards the earth. And then slowly walking the hands back. We're slowly going to come into standing. So walking the hands back towards the knees, Slowly coming up to our feet, coming into a nice forward fold. Just popping the head from side to side a little bit. Slowly coming back up to standing. So a really nice pose to do, obviously when you're talking about sort of grounding down, is tree pose or any balance. Nice, you need to sort of focus on those feet. So imagine the roots coming into the ground. So we're going to come into a tree pose, but then we're going to also bring a bit of movement in there as well. We're going to come into Warrior 3. So I always tend to do this in my classes, so just really focusing on the feet first of all. So it's really important to sort of notice where the feet are in terms of, you know, the body, because obviously if you're going to be doing a balance, you're actually bringing all your weight through one leg, so it's really nice just to focus on the feet. So get yourself nice and tall, bring the shoulder blades down the back, maybe just rocking a little bit from front and back on the feet. So here you can have your eyes open or your eyes closed. But as you are coming forward, just noticing if you're bringing all the 5 toes sort of equally down onto the floor, or whether you just bring the weight to the outside of the feet or the inside. So really just taking those few moments just to really notice how your feet feel as you're walking backwards and forwards or rocking backwards and forwards. Okay, so now we're going to just bring the weight into the toes. We're going to bring the heels off the floor, so we're going to come into a toe balance. So again, just having a point of focus, raising the heels off the floor. So the main thing is trying to keep the breath as steady as you can, relaxing the shoulders, and then slowly we're going to lower those heels down. I'm going to bring the weight into the heels, but just bring the toes off the floor. So you probably automatically come forward a little bit just to compensate. If you find you're rocking backwards a little bit, you just need to bring the body forward. Again, shoulders down the back. And I'm going to bring the toes onto the floor. So we're going to bring the weight to the outside of our feet. And I'm going to bring the weight to the inside of our feet. And slowly we're going to just make sure those feet are nicely connected. And again, you should have a little bit more of a sensation about where those feet are. So we're going to come into a tree pose now. So I'm going to be facing this way. So you need to come to about the first third of the mat. We're going to go back. We need to have a little bit of space in front and behind. So we're going to come into tree pose first. So again, just really get the groundwork done first. So really focus on, first of all, that lovely upright posture. Just bring the shoulders down away from the ears. Don't rush into a balance. It's really nice just to take your time. And you might find that certain times of day balance doesn't suit you. So again, don't be too upset if you can't manage it. So get a nice point of focus. So just find something that's at your eye level. Allow the breath to soften. So really relax into this. So we're going to bring the weight into the right foot. So don't try to imagine rooting down into the floor. So really trying to make sure that that foot stays solid, because basically that's going to be holding you up. So make sure the toes are nicely placed as well. So really gripping in with those big toes. So very slowly, and when you're ready, you're just going to bring the left heel into that right ankle. Shoulders down the back. Okay, so I'll actually just turn and face you now. Probably then you see what I'm actually doing. So only when you're ready. So again, bringing that left foot into the shin. So the main thing is trying to make sure that you're maintaining that focus of the feet and keeping the breath as steady as you can. And again, at the end of the day, this is all you might want to do, which is fine. You're still actually in a balance at the end of the day. It doesn't really matter if the leg comes up higher. But if you do feel you're comfortable with this and you want to bring the leg slightly higher, you can just bring it just above the knee. So any balance, you need to make sure that this particular tree, make sure that the foot comes either above or below the knee, not actually on the knee, because you will push it out of joint. So again, once you're actually here, okay, keeping those focus on the feet, you can bring your hands into the heart center and Anjali Mudra. And then once you're here, just allow the breath to soften. Relax and enjoy it. Maybe smile. Okay, so I'm just very carefully going to come out of this. I just need to turn sideways. So coming from that tree pose, again, the option is there. You can just bring your foot onto the floor if you want to, or if you want to challenge yourself, you can also bring that left knee up in front of you. Now what we're going to do, we're going to imagine we've got like a couple of skewers in our hips. So we're going to just bring the chest forward as the leg comes back. Whoa, so it comes out of balance there, talking too much. So bring the chest forward, keeping that point of focus, allowing that left leg to come back. Shoulders down the back, nice, strong in those legs. And then slowly, we're going to just step back with that left foot into warrior one. Okay, so once we're here, we're keeping that right leg bent, so your left hip comes forward, the right hip comes back. Keeping the hands into the heart centre, we're slowly going to bring the chest forward into a nice humble warrior. So just coming down, and keeping the breath steady, keeping the focus on those feet. Slowly we're going to come back to centre and then step both feet together, back into mountain pose. So now we're getting ready for the second side. So again, get the groundwork done first, don't rush into it, really focus on the feet. And you will find probably one side is actually easy to balance on than the other. I would struggle on my left side, so if I wobble quite a bit, don't worry about it. I've got a wall. And don't forget you can hold on stuff. If you're worried about a chair in front of you is really useful if you're going to do this pose as well. It's quite nice one to the side. So really focusing on that left foot first, so really making sure those 5 toes are really connected. Nice. Shoulders down back, keeping the breath steady. So again, only when you feel ready, just bringing the right heel into the left ankle. Keeping the breath steady. And then when you're ready, bringing that foot into either the shin. Don't forget you can bring that leg slightly higher up into the thigh if you want to. If you have got it into the thigh, make sure you push the sole of the foot into the thigh, coming into Anjali Mudra. Shoulders down the back. So from here, don't forget you can bring that right foot back down to the floor and then come into warrior 3 from here. But if you're happy to come from a standing balance, we're going to release the foot off the thigh, bringing the leg out in front of us. And again, dropping the chest forward, bringing the leg back into that lovely warrior 3, making sure the hips are level. And then we're going to step back with the right leg into warrior 1. Again, so once you're down here, just adjusting yourself so you're actually into a comfortable pose. So we're going to bring the arms behind the back, interlocking the fingers, drawing the fingertips down towards your bottom, opening up the chest. So we're going to come into a very gentle back bend. Really trying to pinch those shoulder blades together as if you've got a pencil between the shoulder blades. And slowly coming forward with the chest. Bring the arms above the head. Slowly bring the hands either side of that front foot, bring both feet together. Nice forward fold. Slowly coming back up. Okay, so we need to very gently, sort of my face there, oops, that's better. So we're going to very gently close up the hips a little bit. So a really nice one from standing pose is to cross the left leg over the right. So we're going to imagine we've got a lovely hinge at the hips here, so coming forward with a nice flat back, bending the knees, so it's going to allow fingertips to just drop onto the floor, so dropping the head down, then moving the head from side to side, just to release the neck. And then gently coming up to standing. And then we're going to swap sides, so bringing the right leg over the left, again bending the knees enough, hinging from the hips, coming forward into a nice forward bend, allowing the head just to drop down. And then make sure we plant the hands on the floor. We're going to just bring the heels off the floor and slowly continue bending the legs, coming down into a nice cross-legged position on the floor. So once we're down here, just bring the shoulder blades down the back. And breathe in. And then twisting round to the right. So we can bring the left hand onto the right knee, the right fingertips behind, nice twist round. Looking over the shoulder. And coming back to centre. Fingertips on the floor next to us. Slowly bringing the arms above the head, breathing in. Twisting round to the left. So the right head comes onto the left knee. Left fingertips behind, nice and tall. Open the chest, shoulders down your back. And then gently coming back to centre. Fingertips by your side. So just use this time now just to check into the body. Bring the hands into the heart centre. So the main thing we've done today is really trying to conserve that energy, just really trying to make sure that you're not overstretching, you're not over forcing something that you're maybe not ready to do, so you've not warmed up enough. So again, don't forget, really grounding down with those feet, really grounding down with all those energies. So until next time, I will see you soon. Namaste. Take care. Bye-bye.